What is going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my infernoid video, so combo video and deck profile at the same time. I'll be showing a lot of combos with this deck featuring the new support. So we got a new Link 3 Fire Monster. It's absolutely cracked. Revive back any fire from the grave, like what? And the graveyard effect is insane as well. And we also have some new Snake Eyes monsters. There are, I mean, not only one, but there's also a spell card, but it glues everything together. And now the Snake Eyes, the old ones, are better. So it changed everything. And I want to say this deck is looking to be more and more dangerous by the minute, so keep an eye out on Infernoid because, you better believe I will be playing this deck at an event someday. I'm gonna come back because the reason why I love this deck so much is because my very first top of my entire life, my first regional top, was a second place at the regionals with this deck, the 60 card Zodiac Infernoid. So obviously I'm very nostalgic, but yeah, I love Infernoid's best deck ever. Anyways, before we proceed, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate you. And now let's get right into it. Alright, so combo number one, I just want you guys to know that Void Imagination does a lot on its own. And, your opponent could have, like, obviously this is an exaggeration, but you could have, like, Triple Colossus, and obviously Abyss Dweller does nothing against this deck because everything is an inherent summon. And you're going to be able to crack everything and do a lot, actually, through off this board. So yeah, where a lot of other decks would struggle, this deck just doesn't. So yeah, it can push through a lot of interruptions very naturally. The engine is just inherently extremely good going second. But obviously, even though this is a going second combo, I will be showing some going first combos as well. So yeah, we get to Dweller, we don't really care, it doesn't change anything to our life. And then we're going to be going Imagination, send only two monsters, the Decatron as well as the Deviati, to summon the Evil. And that's going to be going banish the Deviati to send 9 Inferno monsters from the deck. So I'm not playing the Piatti, the level 5 brick. And I'm not playing Pierre Mace as well. Otherwise, I could have went for an Unku and then sent 10 monsters. But nah, we're not trying to play bad cards. Anyways, now I will be reviving back the Seitsemas, and I'll be going into SP Loto Knight in order to banish one of my opponent's Colossus. And then revive back the Seitsemas by banishing 2 monsters again. And then we link off into the Link 3 monster, Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames. This will allow me to revive back the Decatron and then use its effect. It doesn't negate it, which is ridiculous. And then we can climb into a Link 4. So just like that, we already have our boss monster of the deck, Infernoid Flood. And this card is cracked. Like, when you banish a card from your grave, if any card is banished from your grave, like your opponent could banish a card from your grave, you can banish a card on the field. Doesn't target, it's ridiculous. And then it also has a Solemn Warning-esque effect that allows you to negate summons by tributing a monster. And there is also another effect when it dies, you get to summon an Inferno monster from your deck by ignoring the summoning conditions. Like, this card does everything you can ask for. Now it's super easy to summon thanks to the Link 3, allowing you to get that extra extender. So this card being a Link 4 is basically just the same as it being a Link 3. And also we've got Hita that allows you to revive back your opponent's fire monsters. And every single deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays fire monsters because of Ash. So you always have access to just 2 cards turning into a flood, which is ridiculous. Anyways, revive back the Seitsemas and then banish an opponent's Colossus again. And then Seitsemas battles up on a monster. You could also attack on the Colossus and then it doesn't die and then you still banish it. And then whatever, your monsters can't attack directly because of the SP Little Knight. Main phase 2, you get to summon the Onunku, and since you banished that Infernoid Evil, while there is no longer a Colossus on the board, you can use its effect to search for a Void spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And Void Blaze Up is the ultimate follow-up card because you can banish it from the grave to recycle back 11 of your banished Inferno monsters, well, up to 11. So it gives us the grind game that we asked for. And we also have, like, 2 interruptions, well, 3 interruptions, actually, on top of breaking the whole board, off of 1 single card going second. It's insane. So this card will allow us to banish a card on the field. And then we got the Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames. So we can destroy one of our fire monsters and then destroy an opponent's special summon monster when, when it is special summoned. And then the Onunku can negate spells and trap cards. And if we have Lair of Darkness, it's even better. The only drawback is that it does turn our monsters into dark as well, so it turns off a lot of things. And that's the reason why I am very back and forth on Lair of Darkness in this deck. Anyways, now let's get into combo number 2. Alright, so combo number 2, definitely really interesting as well. Look at what you can do when you only have Snake Eye, Ash, and nothing else, actually. So yeah, normal summon the Ash, and then search for the Populace. and then you're going to be getting your 1-for-1 spell, and then you're going to be tributing it in order to summon, well, I mean, sending it to the grave, summon the Decatron, Shielding 1, Shielding 2. Populace is going to be placing it in the spell and trap zone, and you're going to be sending the Saitsemas, and then Excel effect, send itself with the Decatron in order to go for the Orc, and then revive back the Decatron, and that's going to be sending the Saitsemas again, which matters because now you got a level 8 tuner, and when you go for Orc to summon, well, I mean, summon the Flamberge Dragon, now we can go into its Soulkin using these two monsters. That's actually really cool. And then the Flamberge can place the Populace, whatever, on the spell and trap zone, but it doesn't really matter until you, unless you play other ways of making that relevant, which there are, by the way. Anyways, now the Flamberge revives back 2 level 1 fires from grave. Decatron is so broken to abuse multiple times. Then you can sing for the Baron, and then you set a card, and you summon Crystal Wing. So this is a 1-card combo, actually, into double interruptions with, whatever. I mean, you don't really need, like, anything very specific, just a card that you can set, and you're good to go. So yeah, 1-card combo for double negates is very respectable, and we were also able to fuel our graveyard with double Saitsemas and 1 Atandel. So we have 4 Infernoids in the grave off of 1 single Snake Eye monster. Absolutely remarkable, and that's the base, you know, the basic combo. Now let's get into something way more complicated, but infinitely better. Alrighty, so this is a 2-card combo, assuming that I have Wanted or the Diabell Star and Infernoid Decatron. Look at what I can do. It's also very simple. I mean, no, it's not simple, but I mean, it's also very similar to the combo that I just showed, because I am using the Snake Eye monsters, but in a different way. So this time I go original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye in order to summon the Ash by special summoning, and then I will be searching the Populace that way, and then summon that, and then I will be getting my this card right here, the Snake Eye Dramatic Chase, and that's going to be placing the Diabell Star in the spell and trap zone, which kind of does matter, actually. And the Dramatic Chase also has a very nice graveyard effect. I love it. Anyways, XL is going to be sending the Diabell Star, summon the Oak, and then revive back the Decatron. And this is where it gets really insane. So the Decatron is going to be sending the Deviati. Now you go for a Sunlight Wolf. This deck is also very good at playing Sunlight Wolf. And if you play Ash in your deck, you're going to be having consistent access to Ash. Anyways, the Populace is going to be placing itself in the spell and trap zone, and then the Orc is basically free. Summon the Flamberge Dragon to the zone the Sunlight Wolf points to, which makes you recycle back the Orc, which is a good discard fodder. And the Wanted is going to make you draw 1 card. I draw into another irrelevant card, it doesn't matter. The Flamberge is going to be placing the Populace, and I'm going to be linking off into Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames. And the Flamberge is going to be reviving back the Decatron, as well as any other level 1 fire monster, doesn't matter. And then the Decatron has to send in order Deviati or Atandel, I believe, and then Saitsemas at the very end. So yeah, now you again revive back the Decatron, and you're going to be using its effect yet again to send the Saitsemas, and then revive back the Atandel by banishing the Deviati and Saitsemas that you previously sent with the Decatron. 9, 8, 7, you always start with the highest level ones. I think you might be able to do it the other way around for the 8 and 9, but the last one definitely has to be level 7. And the reason for that is because the maximum amount, like the maximum level of your monster's total count has to be 8 if you want to keep summoning your Infernoids. So this deck is very complicated because you could have like 70 Infernoids in grave and still only be able to summon 1. So that's the issue with the big Infernoid daddies, is that sometimes they just cogblock you. It is what it is. But yeah, by the way, I summoned Proxy F Magician. This card allows you to fuse using monsters from my field as materials. Why am I summoning Decatron and Atandel? Is it to make Ultimate Zolkin? Of course not. I'm fire locked anyways, because of the Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames. But this drawback doesn't scare me whatsoever, because I can still fuse into the most relevant monster, which is hard making Infernoid evil without having to rely on Void Imagination. And this is the beauty about the new support. Like, you get so many more extenders that you can actually make an evil built in your strategy thanks to the Snake Eye engine. Absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna make like a full video on the Snake Eyes cards, because I actually do believe that they will change Yu-Gi-Oh! Like really well, because the Sinful Spoils cards, obviously they changed the game. They brought new support for Rescue Ace that just made them tier 1 out of nowhere. But Rescue Ace is not the only deck that benefits off of these cards, and the Snake Eyes cards, they're gonna have a lot of really nice synergy with the Sinful Spoils. But anyways, now I think you can see where this is going. The evil is going to be banishing the Atandel, mill 8 Infernoids, and then link off for the Flood. The evil is going to be searching the Void Blaze up. Remember, by the way, that this is only a 2-card combo. So at this point, we have a really stacked graveyard with like billions of graveyard effects. We have Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames, Infernoid Evil, great follow-up card. And then we've got 9 Infernoids, if I recall correctly, as well as the Dramatic Chase, which is also a relevant graveyard effect. Anyways, now we go for Void Blaze Up, discard 2, and then draw 2. Really important to get the Void Blaze Up in the grave so that it gives you an insane follow-up for next turn. Your opponent could clear everything that you have, and with 0 cards in hand, 0 cards in field, you can still mount a comeback. Absolutely, yes, because this deck is nasty like that. Anyways, revive back the Setsemas and the Sejette, whatever, just 2 small monsters. Summon Masquerada and then summon the Ononku, whatever. And then Dramatic Chase allows you to summon back a monster from your spell and trap zone on the end phase. So that could also trigger the Flood since you banished a card. You could do it on your opponent's end phase and then banish a card your opponent controls like a back row if you're playing against the trap deck. Not too bad. But we have so many interruptions here, I don't even know where to begin. Infernoid Flood is a solemn warning, so that's interruption number 1. Ononku is a spell or trap negate, so that's interruption number 2, so that's already 2. And then Masquerada into SP Little Knight, that's going to be a banish on summon, as well as a double Farfa. So that's 2 interruptions in 1. And then we also have whatever else here. But we also have the graveyard effect of the Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames, which is E-Pop. So that's going to be yet again another interruption. Ridiculous, right? So yeah, I don't even have to negate that Decatron. My opponent is a worm. SP Little Knight, I can even chain block here. So SP Chainlink 1 and then Chainlink 2 is going to be the Populist. So even if my opponent doesn't negate, I don't care. Again, I don't have to use my Imperm or Ash here. It's completely irrelevant. Let's just pretend like I'm not playing those cards. Destroy the Diabell Star. My opponent doesn't even have a card for the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye to be used. And then my follow play for next turn is ridiculous as well. Again, like you could be on top deck mode and still win with this deck because this card's graveyard effect. Like once you get this card in rotation, you do not lose anymore. Like you revive it back. The effect is non-negated. It doesn't get banished when it leaves the field, which is a little stupid. Like a card that has built-in infinite protection, just like the Drytron monsters. You don't even have to use it as an Xyz material for the Drytrons. This thing, just like just like the Drytrons, is just like inherent recursion, which is ridiculous. Yeah, Flamberge gets you the whatever card from the grave, and when it's sent from the field to the grave, you can revive back your 2 Decatrons, or like an, I don't know, like an Oak or an Ash in a Decatron, whatever you want, and you have like Place for days, again, multiple interruptions, and you snowball advantage at the speed of light. So yeah, this deck is nasty, but wait until you see my deck profile. Alrighty, now for the Infernoid deck profile. Before we proceed, friendly reminder, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate you. Anyways, I am playing a, pretty big Infernoid package, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna be placing them like that, just so you can understand a little better. I am playing 1 Ononku. I think Deviati is just a little better. It depends on the format, but destroying back row and then negating monster effects is, in my opinion, more relevant than destroying monster effects and then negating spells and traps, but sometimes it's the other way around, so just keep that in mind. But if you have to play, obviously if you're trying to play 2 and 2, then it means that you're playing 3 imaginations. Otherwise, if you're only playing 1 imagination, you could play like only one of, you can't play only one of each, because then if you have to send one of them and then banish one for evil, it's not going to resolve because you're not going to have enough Infernoid monsters to Foolish. So that is one thing to keep into consideration. And Ononku's level is way too high. So unless I'm playing the bad Infernoids like Pyrames and Piatti, it's not going to resolve. So that's also another reason why I'm playing the lower level Infernoid as a 2 of and not the higher level one, because otherwise, again, it's just not going to work. It has to send the exact amount of Inferno monsters that match the level of the monster, not up to the level, unfortunately. Anyways, 1 Atondel, double Setsemas, of course. These cards are like relevant in the deck. Atondel being a level 8 and then Setsemas being a level 7 means that when Decatron sends a Setsemas, it becomes level 8 and then you revive back the Atondel. And if you're playing the Tzolk'in and Crystal Link package, you can go into a negate right off the bat. I chose in this list to not play that package. I'm going to show why in a second. Anyways, Sejette, I don't like that card at all. I don't think it's good, but it does allow your Void Feast to be a double Decatron and Sejette play, because it's 6 + 1 + 1 = 8. So it's definitely respectable. And then 1 Patrulia. Yeah, this is a spell or trap destruction. It's not too bad. It's one of the baby Infernoids. Armadic is the monster destructor. And then Anshra can bounce back any face-up card the opponent controls. Could bounce back a face-up spell or trap as well, or a face-up monster. So it is simultaneously better and worse than these 2 monsters. And it doesn't have an attack stat, but it doesn't matter because the turn you use any of these monsters' effects, you cannot attack. This is the turn you activate their effects, not for the rest of the turn. So you can't go battle phase, virtually attack, and then main phase 2 destroy a spell or trap. That doesn't work. So make sure you don't make any illegal moves with this deck. It's very easy to misplay, and also forget about the restrictions of the levels of the infernoids. Very easy to forget that, trust me. Anyways, for the Snake Eyes cards, of course, I am playing the Flamber Dragon as a one-of. You don't need more than that, I believe. The Populace can reset it back in your spell and trap zone, and then you can set it again, and then keep reviving back your monsters. You have like an infinite grind game with this deck. It's beautiful. Anyways, one Maximus. I used to play one Ecclesia as well as one Fleur de Lis with the Titanic Lad in my extra deck, but it was too much, and sometimes I would be breaking because the Fleur de Lis is just like, it's extra like fluff, but it's really not a necessity, and Maximus is actually extremely good because Nadir Servant resolving is just honestly really cracked. But yeah, this is just another extra one-card combo if you are going first. Yeah, you're trying to send Garura so that you can search that, and then banish the Garura. Obviously, you're drawing one card, and then you are sending the Infernoid Evil alongside anything else. You could send an Elder Entity Entis if you're going second, or like a Tiara or something, and then you just stack your graveyard even more, which is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the Dogmatica and Nadir Servant package in this deck. Anyways, Diabellstar the Dark Witch, 1 Oak. This is the worst one. It's a Monster Reborn. You don't really want to draw this card because you want to have access to this card off of Ash in your combo. And even Ash is not a card that you're trying to play as a 3 of because you always access this card with your Snake Eye 1-for-1 spell anyways that you get off the Diabellstar, which you get from the Seeker, Wanted Seeker of the Sinful Spoils. So everything is tightly correlated to each other. So that's the reason why playing 3-ofs is not good. You'd rather want diversity of options instead of having just too much redundancy that will make your hands just really awkward because you just have the same card over and over. Anyways, I'm also playing 2 Populace. You could mess around with only 1 copy of this card. Might actually work. And then Triple Decatron. This card is incredible in this deck, obviously. I mean, it's arguably the most relevant monster in this deck because it's basically any Infernoid monster, and the level modulation is really relevant if you want to synchro summon. So Baron de Fleur is an absolute joke to summon. You send the Tondel, it becomes level 9, and then you sync with any Snake Eye, and that's it. You have your negate, and cards like Nibiru do not scare you anymore. Anyways, now for the spell cards, I'm playing Instant Fusion so that you can cheat out the evil that way. Obviously, it's a must. Like, you have to play Instant Fusion in this deck. 3 Nadir Servant, 3 Prosperity for extra consistency. Again, it clashes with the draw that you get from the Garura off of the Nadir Servant, but not really the end of the world. And then the 1-for-1 spell, Void Blaze Up, 3 Wanted Sinful Spoils. The Void Blaze Up, by the way, the effect, like, I want this card to be like my discard fodder for something. I don't really want to use it because it is a neg 1, but you still draw cards at the end of the day, so it doesn't suck too much. But yeah, the graveyard effect, it's basically like a barrel from a different dimension, but for 11 banished Infernoids, up to 11, so it's unfair. And then Snake Eye Dramatic Chase, I already explained that card, but it's pretty nice, and it's also a necessity in your combo. And then Void Imagination, this is the going first build, so I'm only main decking 1, but in a going second build, you would be playing 3 copies of this card, and potentially 0 Void Feast. But yeah, 3 Void Vanishment. This card searches any of your Void spells or traps, but it does lock you for under Infernos for the rest of the turn. So keep that into consideration. You will not be able to link climb into the Prisoner Princess into the Flood. You're gonna have to hard make the Flood if you want to summon it, but usually it's too expensive. So you can't afford the luxury. If you're going Vanishment, you're probably searching Imagination and then just like going OTK. Maybe not even, because Tiara, you can't really OTK when you summon it. Unless you can, like, I mean, not under Vanishment, because then you can't even... You would have to, like, Tribute Summon or, like, find a way to get rid of your own Tiara, which is unrealistic. But Void Barrier is one of the ways to, like, circumvent the restrictions of your Infernoid monsters, because it does allow you to special summon an Infernoid monster from your hand, ignoring the summoning condition. It's a continuous spell. And there is also another effect to recycle back in a banished Infernoid monster, which is very good if you're recycling back your Decatrons. So I really like Void Barrier, and then finally 1 Void Feast, because again, this is the going first build, so I always have a lot of options with my Prosperity. So yeah, a lot of 1-card starters, a lot of really powerful spell cards. We've got 12 power spells, and going second, I mean even more, like Void Imagination is a power spell, and then yeah, these cards obviously are a necessity in your deck, and also Instant Fusion is a power spell. But yeah, 40 card main deck, and then for the extra deck, Inferno Tiara so that my Imagination can be really nasty, and then Garura, Elder Entity Entis, Infernoid Evil, which I can also summon off of Imagination, as I've showcased in combo number 1. But if your opponent has a monster negate, then you can't really rely on evil because it's just gonna get negated. So instead of that, you go into Tierra, and if your opponent negates that, then it's even better for you because now you no longer control a monster, and you still sent like 6+ infernoids off of imagination, so it doesn't matter. Your opponent specifically needs Ash or, you know, like it's like spell and trap negates for this card, and it wouldn't be enough because this card is not once per turn. So if you're playing multiples, it's you're completely fine. And if you can go like normal Decatron, send the Deviati, and then activate your imagination, then your opponent can't really do too much because now your Decatron has the ability to negate monster effects. See, this is again another reason why I really like 2 Deviatis over 2 Anankus. Anyways, Baron de Fleur, obviously this card is insane in this deck. It's really easy to synchro summon it, and then Infernoid Flood, Prisoner Princess, Hita, Sunlight Wolf, and then SP Little Knight, Proxy F Magician, so you can hard fuse into the evil. You might be able to go into Garura as well, but it's irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is even worse. And then Muckracker, great card, IP Masquerena, and then Secure Gardna and Link Rebo. These two are when you have Hard Drawn, Dogmatica Maximus, and you only have like a Snake Eye monster, and not all of your plays go through. You just go into that, but it's not really a necessity. So yeah, you could actually cut these cards. Anyways, now for the idea section, I am playing, of course, or at least considering and used to play Fleur de Lys, the Lair of Darkness package with Ecclesia, Kurikara that you can search off of the Ash, as well as Super Poly targets in case I ever want to play Super Poly. I don't know why there's a second evil. Soulkin Crystal Link package, not too bad. Echo Max for the OTKs. Dark if you want to play Lair of Darkness because now everything is going to become dark. I don't think it affects the grave though. It's only field. But yeah, like obviously your monsters become dark, so you can't make Hita. You have to make dark, and obviously a lot of people play dark monsters in their deck anyways. El Mirage for the same reasoning as Secure Gardna and Link Rebo, sorry. Forbidden Droplet, good at sending your own Tierra and stuff. Helps you break boards even more. Super Poly, same thing if you're playing Lair of Darkness. But then you have so many going second cards, not enough going first cards, and your deck starts bricking, and it becomes very gimmicky. Void Imagination should be enough as a going second card. You really don't need Lair of Darkness. And the Snake Eye Field spell is fine, but it's not a must whatsoever. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Infernoid in the comment section below, especially with the new support. And I will see you guys very soon. Peace.